Good morning, everyone. So let's have now this topic, the equation of a circle. So the learning objectives for this topic is you will be able to know how to transform standard form to the general equation of a circle and vice versa. Similarly, you will know how to determine the center and radius of the circle from these forms of the equation. Let's now discuss the standard form of the equation of the circle. The first example or the first figure is the circle. The center of the circle is at the center or at the origin of the x and y axis. Given the equation, x squared plus y squared, yan daw yung equation niya. So let's use this table to identify the center, radius, and the equation. So as you can see in the figure, the center is at 0, 0. The radius is 2 square root of 2, and the equation is x squared plus y squared is equals 8. And knowing the standard form, when the circle is at the origin, you can see that the radius m8 is related when you get the r squared of the radius, when you square the radius, correct? So 2 square root of 2 squared, that is 8. So when we write the standard form of a circle, given that it is in the origin of the x and y axis, we can write it in this form. Ito yung standard form niya. Similarly, our next example or figure number 2, we have this wherein the center is not in the origin. Okay? So here, we have this given that the center is at 1, 2, and the center is at 1, 2, and the radius is 3. So this is the equation. As you observe, the value of the center is related to this part, 1 and 2. However, nagbago lang yung kanyang symbol or the sign. Negative 1 siya, ito negative 2, wherein the center is 1, 2. So in getting the radius, or the center rather of an equation given a standard form, you need to equate this into 0. So x minus 1 is equal to 0. That's why the value of x is equal to 1. So that represents the value of h. So therefore, to know the standard form of the equation of a circle, we have this. Okay, so h and k. So of course, similarly what happened in figure number 1, the r squared represent this 3. When you get the square root of 3, you have 9. So that's how we do the standard form of the equation. So let's take a look in this example. Activity-based siya actually. So complete the table. So we have this center which is 0, 0 and the radius 5. So ibig sabihin, just looking back for the figure number 1, we can have this equation. X squared plus y squared. So we're going to square the value of the radius to get the standard form, yung nasa right side niya. Okay? So ngayon, dito naman sa example number 2, we're going to identify the center. Since you are not seeing any value beside the x and y, the origin is 0, 0. And we're going to, since ito, the exponent is 2, we're going to square it. Dito, the inverse, we need to get the square root. Okay? So that's why we can now have the radius is 5. Okay, dito naman, next example is that the center is not at the origin. Okay, so we can get the value of the center just getting the inverse of positive 1 and just getting the inverse of positive 3, which is negative 1 and negative 3. Okay, ay positive 3. Similarly, what we've done here in example number 2, we need to get the square root of 16 to have the radius is 4. Okay, So ngayon, for example, number 4 and 5, we need to get the standard form given the center of the given the center and the radius. So the answer for this, if this is negative 4 and this is negative 6, the value beside x and y must be positive. Okay? So, and to get the right side of the standard equation, we need to, where's the cursor? To square this. Okay, 2 square is 4, square root of 5 is 5. So we have now, the value is 20. So that's, yeah, negative 4, naging positive siya. Negative 6, naging positive din siya. Then square to get this part. Okay? To get this part. Itong part siya. Okay, similarly, we're going to do what we did in example number 4. You need to get the inverse of this. Ibig sabihin, the number beside or the sign beside the x is negative. And the value beside y is positive. And again, we need to square this. We have now 81. Okay, that's why we have this equation. Okay, negative 2, katabi niya kasi positive 2. Negative 7, you have positive 7 and 81. So that's how we we identify the center and the radius given the standard form. Of course, that's also how to write the standard form given the center and the radius. Okay? So let's now proceed to the next part of this topic, the equation of a circle. So everything, sabi ko nga, the equation of a circle, um, lahat ng equation, it has a graphical representation. So meron din tayong general equation of a circle, aside from the standard form. So, di ba ito yung general equation natin, standard form natin, wherein in general siya. Kasi kung ang origin is at the center of the circle, at the center of the x and y axis, the value of h and k is 0, 0. So, ito yung pinaka-general form na standard form. So, we're going to derive now the general equation. To, to get it, just do the algebra. Okay, squared it. You have negative 2hx plus h squared and so on and so forth. Then, kung get x squared plus y squared, pinag-arrange lang naman siya, negative 2hx. Tapos, itong negative 2ky, pinunta dito. Si h squared and k squared nilapit. Then, pinagsama na si r squared dito sa kabila. So, h and k represent a real number, okay? Of course, the radius is real number, of course. So, here, we can deduct that 2hk, 2k, and h plus ky can be written as d, e, and f respectively. So, to write the general equation of a circle, we can have x squared plus y squared dx is equal ey plus f because d, e, and f are real numbers. Okay? So, for example, number 1, for example, number 1, let's have this. So, of course, can algebra, yan, expand, then Viola, you have this, and simplify. So, okay, nag-in-expand lamang, in-expand to, naging ito yung sagot, in-expand naman to, ito yung naging sagot. Okay, copy, kinopy naman si 20. Then, what we did next is, ito, pinagsama na natin pinasunod-sunod na natin siya based dito, x squared, yung may 8x, yan, yan, then 12y, yan, and 52, nag-iba siya ng 52, 36 minus 52, no, 36 minus 50. Ang ginawa dito is, we added 16 plus 36, that's why we have 52. Okay? Then, nilipat natin yung 20. Nag-list ng negative 20, kaya naging 32. So, this is now our general equation if given this standard form. Example number 2, similar process. Yan. And so on and so forth. Next, how do we transform general equation into standard form? Okay, kanina 'di ba we transform that standard form into the general equation. Ngayon, we're going to transform it back. So, example number 1, we have this as your example number 1 kanina. Babalik lang natin siya. So, ano ba yung first step? We need to arrange based on the variables. As you can see, we have now x squared and 8x, pinagsama siya, and y squared plus 12y. Nilipat na natin si constant sa kabila. Kasi it will represent the radius. After that, we need to complete the square. So, di ba, as you remember how to complete the square, ito siya during your first quarter. Ito yung first part, the second part. Of course, what everything you added in the left part, what everything you added on the left part, inulit ko para ma-emphasize, you need to also add it in the right side para balance your equation. So, kinukuha lang natin kung ano yung value ng b, kinukuha natin siya, dinidivide natin sa 2, then wini-square natin. The value of b is 12. 12 divided by 2, you have squared, and so on and so forth. Then we need to simplify it. So this would be 16, 36. So na-add din siya 16 and 36. So nagkaroon ng ganon. Okay? So next, we need to simplify it. So you have now the equation of a circle like this. So yan. Okay? So that's it. So the center is 4 and negative 6. Okay, so let's try another example. Example number 2. So here, the same process. We need to arrange based on the variables. Yan. And we need to do completing the square. Okay. Then simplify it. Then you have now the value or now have the standard form, and we can now identify the center, which is at 2 and negative 7. Negative 7 to us. Negative 7. Okay. Ito kung siguro gumagawa. And the radius is 9. Okay. So to sum it up or to generalize, circle, we all know, is the set of of points in a plane equidistant from a given point called the center of the circle. The equation of a circle is in center radius form. Ayan siya, guys. As you can, as we discussed. And when the center is not at the origin. The general equation, ayan siya, where D, E, and F are real numbers. So thank you so much, guys, for this video tutorial. So I hope you learned something from this. And if you still have queries, do not hesitate to direct message me. So thank you, guys, and goodbye.